it occurred to me that Christmas is mentioned in this, in this article in the Kamloops Wawa, and it goes on quite a bit. So possibly we'll be still reading this, when Christmas arrives in 2020. So I did go ahead and extend the document to put in the entire rest of that page. It's astonishing. Father Lejeune would have said, of course, you have a 9-page document, my friend, coming from one page of shorthand, because he constantly promoted the efficiency of Chinook paper, saying that you could cram a lot of information into one page if you wrote in it. I think there was one time he wrote a single page and claimed he had 35,000 words of Chinook Wawa there. And the problem is I've never found a clear enough copy of that page to be able to read it and check his claim. But I think I will be able to do that at some point. Probably Gonzaga University here in Spokane has good copy. Whenever COVID simmers down a little bit, I'll be looking for that. So we got as far as the song of Welcome to the Bishop, visiting Kamloops last time. That's here. The song was in a language foreign to the Kamloops people. It's in Thompson Salish with some Chinook Wawa loan words in it. And now we are here. So Jay, the first person I have on my list is Jay Powell. If you would be interested in tackling this little paragraph here, Kopit shake hands.
Okay. Kopit shake hands. Lusavek Yaka sit down. He Tai Louis Chakawawa Tennis Wawa Kopayaka Yakawawa Post Kanaway Tilakam Glade Klush Tum Tum Nanachiaka. So only Chief Hands, the bishop, he sat down, and Chief Louis let's see, came to make a little speech to him. He said, Connolly Tillicum, that everyone was happy to see him.
Ah, nice. Yep. And I will run over that as well. Run through it. I will kuli oko some, as they would say in Kamloops. I'll run this writing. Kopit shake hands. Lisifek yaka sit down. Pitai Louis Chakawawa Tanaswawa Kopayaka. Yakawawa pos Kanawi Tilikan Tle Tlush Dum Dum Nanachiaka. And this is a funny use of kopit. It means finished shaking hands. It's almost like my point of reference is in the Latin language. I'm not going to go there, I swear. But with shaking hands finished, the bishop, he sat down, and Chief Louis came to say a little speech to him. He, Chief Louis, said, as if, he characterized all the people as really happy to see him, the bishop. So that's an interesting use of pos as well. Pos is usually kind of a hypothetical thing or something in doubt. But, if you're speaking on behalf of other people, you could say, as if the others are happy. Okay. There's some interesting kind of ethical standpoint contained in this little tiny word pos. Because again, it's just not claiming that the following is a fact. It's how Chief Louis understands or perceives everyone else's attitude. All right, that's good. Thank you. And probably a little bit of scrolling. Oh my, here's a nice paragraph. Alex, would you like to take that?
Sure thing. All the Lusavik Yagamamu Kamtaks Kopensaika Kada Okok Ilahi Piokok Tilakam Kah Yakachako Okok Ilahi Kopakamlups Hayas Lu Shilahi Piokok Ilahi Kah Yakachako Helo Kakwa Dlet Saya Kopa Yakwa Yawa Kopa Wamilahi Sun Yaka Ipsit Copa 10 o'clock. Yaka Wuch get up Copa 2 o'clock. Copa Sitcom Polakli. Elo Polakli Copa Yawa Elahi. Copa 12 o'clock. Sitcom Polakli Copa Kamloops. Yaka Light Copa Yawa Elahi. So now the bishop, he tells us how this how this what this land's like, and the people how the people are where he's going, or where he went, or where he came, I guess. Sorry. This land is much better than Kamloops. Highest Lush Ilahi Kopakam. Kokilhi Kahya Kachako Hilakapa. Oh wait, is he saying this Ilahi? This land than Kamloops?
Big contrastive stress with the capital.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kokilhi Kopakamloops. Highest Lush Ilahi.
Okay, so this land compared to Kamloops, which is a good place. Like Kamloops is the good place, right? I don't know. That's weird to me.
You're on track. Contrast is the key clue here.
And then that land where he went isn't like that. Like it isn't as good as Kamloops, I guess. Let's say it's very far from here. There at summertime, the sun is hidden at 10 o'clock, and also it rises at 2 o'clock. In the evening. There's no night there in that place. The airland at 12 o'clock in the middle of the night at Kamloops. There's lots of light. It's really light in that place.
Yeah. Okay, good. Alta Lesevek Yaka Mamu Kumtux Kopenasaika Kata Okogilahi Bioko Tilicum Klach Yaka Jago. Okogilahi Kopa Kamloops Haya Slusheli Bioko Kilahi Kayaka Chago Halo Kagwa. Glitsaya Kopa Yakwa. Yawa Kopa Wam Ilahi. Sun Ipsit Kopa yeah. I see that I very lightly edited this passage. I was correcting some of the underlinings. And to be honest with you, some of the yakas should be gone from here according to the standards I've been building up. Okay, sorry. Delete saya kopa yakwa. Yawa kopa wamilhi sun ipsit kopa 10 o'clock. Biwacht, get up, kopa 2 o'clock. Kopa sit kompulikli. Halo polikli kopa yawa ilahi. Kopa 12 o'clock, sit kompulikli. Kopa Kamloops. Delete light kopa yawa ilahi. Then the bishop, he informed, he made us know, Mamuk Kumtux, to us, he informed to us or taught to us how is that country and those people where he came from. Chaco very, very, very often means come from in a kind of English translation. Just as Tlatwa extremely often should be understood as go to. This place, this country around Kamloops is very good country, but that country where he came from is not so. It's really far from here. There in the summer, the sun is hidden, you know, it goes down. Neat little expression here. The sun is hidden at 10 o'clock and again rises, gets up at 2 o'clock in the middle of the night. Sitcompolically. There is no night in that country. At 12 o'clock in the middle of the night in Kamloops, it's really light in that country there, you know, their country, Yawa Ilahi. And this, you've seen quite a number of expressions like this, you know, Yawa Ilahi. We've seen stuff like Kanui Ka Ilahi, you know, all over the place, literally everywhere places. That's a real BC structure from the evidence that we have. Okay, very good. I'll make sure I put a check mark by people's names so I recall who's had a crack at this yet. And then we have quite a robust paragraph here. I think I'm just going to take it from the top of that until kind of the, until Fatwa round. So just highlighting that far. Okay, and Norbert, I have you next on my list if you would like this.
That's fine, okay. Okay. P. Poos, La Plate, Flatwa Nanich, Telecom, Copa Saya, Copa North, Ilahi, San Quansum, Chaco, Ilipayas. You want me to read the whole thing through, right?
Sure.
Tanasaya Pisan Ipsut Copa Tachum P East, or 11 o'clock. Piaka Kitab Copa 8 o'clock. Tanasaya Wacht Pi Halo Yaka Ipsut. Kopit Yaka Tanas Hlatwa Copa Ilahi, Sitkam Hlatwa Copa Ilahi Pi Sitkam Halo. Tanasaya Wacht Pi Halo Yaka Ipsut. Copa Marks Sunday, Copa Hune Sunday, Copa Echt Moon, Copa Markst Moon, Copa Lakit Moon, San Yaka Kuli Copa Sahali Ilahi, Yaka Hlatwa Round.
Okay, I'm going to take out another yaka. Sorry.
Sunhui.
Uh-huh.
Mhm. So that first sentence in there, people's and when the priest went to look to look after the people, or visited the people in the far away, in the North Country. The sun was always the biggest, became the biggest. The Nasaya, not far away, and the sun is hidden at 11 o'clock, and it rises, it gets up.
Sorry, taking out another yaka.
And gets up, will get up at 1 o'clock. The Nasaya, and again, not far.
I'm sorry, I'm changing this as you read it. I didn't have that much time to edit this beforehand. Okay.
A little further than Pihalo Ipsut. It doesn't go down. Kabetinas Latwa. When you are a little walk from that country, in that country, from that a little walk from that place, it is half above the ground and half not. Tenasaya, walk, and again a little farther. It won't be concealed. It won't be hidden. For 2 weeks, for maybe 3 weeks, for a month, for 2 months, for 4 months. There's no 3, there's Kopalakit. For 4 months, the sun goes into the sky, and it becomes round.
Okay, I'm going to go over that as well. Many apologies to you for editing things out of existence as you read. You're very patient with me, you guys.
Can you tell me why you edit them out? Because it is a classic thing in Chinook to have these pleonastic pronouns or resumptive pronouns.
So they're referring to the sun, however, and the as a rule, when we see the yaka being used, referring to a non-human, non-personified entity, I take it as Father Legendre French accent, so-called. It's unusual jargon to hear the yakas in that case. So just for learning purposes in these texts, I've been trying to, standardize the grammar just that little bit. And yeah, hopefully people will all learn to read Chinook Pepa and go back and read the originals for themselves. That's one of our goals. Okay, I'm going to read through that selection here. So just to highlight it again. Okay, pi pus le plaid, llad o nanage telecom, copa saya, copa north ilahi, sun quanasum chakwila payas. Dana saya pi sun ipsit copa 11 o'clock, pi get up copa 1 o'clock. Dana saya wacht, pi halo ipsit, copa dana slatwa copa ilahi. Sit cum slatwa copa ilahi, pi sit cum halo. Dana saya wacht, pi halo ipsit. Copa moxt Sunday, copa tlun Sunday, copa icht moon, copa moxt moon, copa locket moon, sun coolly copa sachli ilahi, flatwa around. And when the priest visits, goes to see the people in far away, who live far away in the North Country, the sun always becomes bigger. The sun gets increasingly bigger as you go north. A little farther, and the sun is hidden or goes down at 11 o'clock and gets up or rises at 1 o'clock a.m. A little farther still, and it doesn't set, it doesn't hide. It only goes a little bit toward the earth, half going into the earth and half not. A little farther still, and it's not hidden at all. Halo ipsit. For 2 weeks, for 3 weeks, for a month, for 2 months, for 4 months, the sun travels, Kuli, travels in the sky, Sachali Ilahi, going around.
Yeah, that wasn't becoming yet. It's going around in a circle.
It helps me when I'm trying to translate, trying to understand a passage like this. Helps me if I realize the intention of the writer, and what he's doing. He's reporting to us the description that the bishop is giving local people of this strange place. Okay, so it's an explanation. It's just a pure factual explanation of what nature is like up there, which helps me a bit, whenever there's an otherwise unclear verb or something.
Dave, is it possible that the people saw the sun as a person or something like that? That's why I would use Yaka?
No, Father Lejeune wouldn't. And this is him writing. And he wouldn't go along with that, if local native people had that belief anyway. That kind of description just, we don't see it. We don't see evidence of any such thing in Kamloops, Wawa, or other documentation.
I somehow recall, weren't we did something with what was it, the Saanich tale with the tide coming in and tide going out, and wasn't there something there about water then being animate and attributed as a yaka? Or am I imagining that?
Maybe others remember that better than I do. I recall something broadly like that, that as a hypothesis we tossed around. That was me being extremely respectful of that person's Chinook Wawa and trying to make the most sense I could of it. To be honest, I feel that his Thomas Paul, it was.
Yeah, right, yeah.
His jargon was a little bit idiosyncratic. and or rusty. As Alex was commenting on my website about Mungo Martin, I think yesterday, that there's a little question about that. You know, the level of kind of day-to-day fluency. You know, lively control of jargon among some speakers, where the Yaka does come in. And really, by the time that Thomas Paul and Mungo Martin were audio recorded, kind of the, what is it, mid or late 30s into the 50s, 60s, certainly jargon was, not in common daily use on Vancouver Island, where they both lived. And these folks were hearing and using much more English. And if they were engaging in speaking jargon, it was with sort of settler white people who most likely did use lots of yakas, due to their English language accent, their English language habits.
And just in one more question here about what we just did. How common a usage is Sahali Ilahi for the sky?
I think pretty common.
Okay.
Yeah. I think only in BC do we consistently see Sahali Ilahi for heaven. Whereas in BC and in Southern dialect, Sahali Ilahi, or just Sahali, by the way, are common for sky. I think that possibly UJ documented this in a paper on words the lexicographers left out, that there also is a jargon word, sky. I have seen that in Kamloops. Not that surprising, really, considering the number of sort of new English borrowings in that area, when borrowing from English meant that you achieved greater precision. Sky is a very specific word in its meaning, as opposed to Sahali Ilahi, which is also a very, very old jargon expression for highland and upland.
Isn't there Akusa as well? Akusa's
Right, yes. In Southern dialect, some of you may be taking the Grand Ronde course, or you have the Grand Ronde dictionary. You will be familiar with Qosach, which they still use as a normal thing for the sky. Okay, thank you, Norbert. Sam, would you finish this bit here? And I'm happy to give you a bit more after we scroll.
That's okay.
To
No,
the next page.
Chaco tanas kikuli pi halo ipsut. Halo polakli kopa lakat moon. Ikata okoktilicum puskakwa. Halo na klaska sleep. Nawitka klaska sleep. Klaska mamuk pi Chaco sitcum polakli. Kopet sitcum polakli klaska. So when it comes a little down and doesn't get hidden, there's not any evening or night at for 4 months. And how these people can be like that? Don't they sleep? Of course they sleep. They work and they come half night. They work and it becomes half night.
Yeah.
After the half night, they
something, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you. I'll run over that as well. Chaco tanaskikuli pe halo ipsit, halo polakli, kopalaket moon, pikata okuk diligum, oskakwa, halo na tlaska sleep, nawitka tlaska sleep, tlaska mamuk, pichaco sitcum polakli, Kopitsit Kumpulikli Thaska something or other. Yep. You know, it begets to be, you know, or it comes a little lower, Dunaskikuli. And literally that is a little, the meaning clearly is a little lower, as we very often find in jargon. That's the effect of an expression of the extent of something, kind of in English. So it gets a little lower, but doesn't hide or set. There's no night for 4 months. And how are these people, in other words, you know, what are their lives like if it's so?
Welcome, Dale.
Hello.
Dale to my list here. Okay, don't they sleep? Halo Nahlaska sleep? Yeah, indeed, they sleep. They work. And there comes midnight. In other words, they work until midnight. This is a way of saying until in Northern dialect. Kopit, again, here's its use of kopit as when it's finished, midnight, after midnight, in other words, they do something or other. And then, oh, I see what I did. Okay. I actually skipped over to page 37 this week. Again, an editorial oversight. So I'll see if I can go back and throw in the rest of that page 36 for you guys. Sam, I want to challenge you with this, though, since I said you could read more.
Kopa Kri Lalang, Klaska Mamut Piusum Kakwa. So in the Cree language, they Mamut Piusim.
Does anyone remember this little rare word from my website or something? If you can see me on your screen, here's Mamuk Piyusam.
Make the La Copa La Croix, Mamuk La Croix. Make the cross. Huh. We Otawimit Mina Wiposisimit.
Okay, we don't expect you to handle the Cree because Dale is here.
Oh yeah. Dale.
What's the Chinook part? What's this
I've
part,
been looking
Sam?
at the Cree part, and I can't quite make it all out.
It's kind of weird, you know, having been written in Chinook paper, and some of it was illegible to me also, so it's not super reliable.
Yeah.
There are recognizable words.
We kosisimit mina miu sit manato hawi owe mik piane kuse. So mina miu sit, that's going to be 2 words, I think. That's your 4th word. Miu shu is like he's good. Mina miu sit manato. Yeah. Manato, spirit. That H is probably something else. You don't really begin words with an H that, like, actually I've never heard that. I've just never seen it. Mina awi yowe mik piane, and then ekuse is like so be it. Mina submit, mina miu sit manato. That's kind of different Cree.
Is maybe a more northern dialect there.
I don't know if it's more than northern dialect or if it's like a Pigeon Cree or something. I don't know.
Yeah, see? This is what we always get from these priests. We
Lots
get,
of
a little bit different, like Salish too.
And maybe a bit northern too. Yeah, you're right. Wait,
And
it is
so
all
this
the endings?
Kopa Krila Lang, in the Cree language, they do the sign of the cross, they mamuk peyosum, like this. And then he's quoting probably from Bishop Grouard.
Oh, we utaw amit. Uh,
So in the name of,
That's father. Mina, we co-systemit. And yeah, that is different because um, I
so
see.
Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
It's in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
And then something or other, amen, you know, to be so. You usually have that for amen in Indian.
Ikuse. Yeah.
You know, like Hlush Kakwa in Chinook jargon. Let it be so. And there will be published, you know, Cree sign of the cross available to us, you know, to compare that. But that's not our main focus today. Susan, how about the following observation?
Hilo hayas til okok kri lalang poswawa. Dalit tlush lalang kopa kanawe ikta shanti. Hilo kakwa Montana lalang kopa Montana yi lalang tlaska mamuk piesum kakwa. So something's in the negative. They never. I
So
asked.
not very heavy or difficult.
Something about the Cree language.
This Cree language.
To talk, to speak.
That's like really or very.
Very good, this language. I'm not sure what Kanawe Ikta Shanti is, though.
So Kanawe Ikta is everything. You can use it as an adjective, every kind of chanter.
To sing.
Is that a song there?
Well, read on, Susan.
Well, is he talking about Montana?
Montagnais.
Mountain language.
It's a language that was called Montagnais. It's I think a Dene language.
Oh, right. Actually,
Northwest Territories.
Yeah, no, when I think back to being a kid, they were called the Montagnier, yeah. So then you're gonna make the cross again in this Montagnier language. Is that what's gonna happen next?
Yep. So Halo Hayas Til Oko Kri Lalang Puswawa. Tle Tlush Lalang Kopa Kanwe Ekta Shante. Halo Kagwa Montagnier Lalang. Kopa Montagnier Lalang. Plaska Momok Piusum Kagwa. It's not very difficult, this Cree language, to speak. Really a good language for all kinds of singing. Not like that is the Montagnais Dene language. In Montagnais language, they do the sign of the cross like this. And, you know, we don't have to focus on that because none of us speaks any Dene languages. I'm not even sure if I copied it correctly from the faded, you know, Chinook Pipa page. And so that's where I want to find a speaker or a linguist maybe to look at that. Okay, thank you. Hayamasi, Susan. Nick, would you like to take the next paragraph?
Okoklisevek mamuk kumtugsan psycha kata ilahi tilakam Saska named Rabbit Skin Podlev.
Baudelièvre.
Podlev. Saska Tlap Hayu Rabbits Pih Saska Mamuk Saska Kots Saska Pasisi Saska Sikalux Kopa Ogok Rabbit Skin Conway Saska Ictus Rabbit Skin Saska Dled Kakwa Hayas Rabbits. So also this priest taught us how if Ilahi Tilcum, one land's people, so some people in an area, they're named the Rabbit Skin.
And this is in French. Same thing, skin of rabbits.
Oh, okay,
in
that makes more sense.
shorthand, right? It's written in the Chinook Tipa, phonetic alphabet. So peau de lièvre.
And I guess that alphabet was originally developed for French anyways, right?
Yeah.
They found lots of rabbits and they caught lots of rabbits and they made themselves and they were caught. Coats. Oh, they made coats. Okay. They Ixtawawa, Pasisi, Kaba, Boston Wawa.
Pasisi Kakapuswawa blankets.
They so then they made coats, blankets. What's Sikalux?
Pants.
Okay. I don't know my clothing apparently here. Out of this rabbit skin. All of them, everything was made out of rabbit skin there. They really like all of these rabbits, everything out of rabbit.
So Flaska Glate Kagwa, Hayas rabbits. These people are just like
rabbits.
Giant rabbits.
Yeah, I noticed they've got the S on rabbits and then they don't. And they got it, they don't.
Yeah.
Comment on that, Dave?
Comment on it?
Is it just plural? Or?
Doesn't mean anything, if you ask me. Local folks would hear the word both ways in the English that was around the Kamloops area, kind of indifferently. Usually if you're gonna go hunting for anything like a rabbit, you're gonna get a plural number of them. And you need a bunch of them to do these particular clothing projects that are mentioned.
So
yeah, so
I don't know if you've ever watched Cree Hunters of Mistassini. Good old National Film Board video in Northern Cree.
Does it ring a bell?
I'm not sure if we've lost you or not, Dale.
Has your connection slowed down? I'm going to start reading this out loud myself. Alta naik kuli okokwawa. Wach okoklesevek mamuk kumtux nasaika kata ich delhi delicum. Flaska name rabbit skin, pod lièvre. Flaska tlap hayu rabbits, pi flaska mamuk, flaska kots, flaska pasisi, flaska sikalux, kop okok rabbit skin. Kanwe flaska ictus, rabbit skin. Flaska glade kakwa hayas rabbit. So also this bishop informed or taught us how are a certain or another places, people, their name being the rabbit skin, the peau de lièvre. I think the French version of that is better known in Canadian history. In English, these folks are called the Hare, H-A-R-E, the Hare Indians, Dene people. Tlatzkatlap, okay, they catch many rabbits and they make their coats, their blankets, their pants out of this rabbit skin. All of their things, all of their belongings or clothing are rabbit skin. They are really like giant rabbits. And that's one of my favorite little examples of how there's a good deal of humor to be found in Chinook Wawa when you get out there reading these nice old sources. Let's see, just checking the time. Yeah. Lauren, would you like the next paragraph?
Sure. Kopet Sikkim Sun Per Fuke Yaka An Kati Mitle Kopa Okok Ilahi Yaka Chako Nanich Kamloops Tilikum Yaka Chako Kanamoxt Monsignor Grue P Yaka Delay Lush Tomtom Nanich Kamloops Tilikum Kopet Hulakli Stick Iwu Itil. I have a tough time with that one. Yaka Waka Kopa Wawa Kopa Tlaska Mamu Context Kopa Tlaska Kata Yaka Ankati Pos Yaka Migle Kopa Okok Ilahi. At midday, Per Fouquet, who previously lived in this land, he came to see the Kamloops people. He came with Monsignor Grouard, and he was really happy-hearted, glad to see the Kamloops people. At night prayer, evening mass.
After, Kopet is after.
After, he said to them, teach to them, and I had a tough time with this one, how he previously, and I didn't know how post functioned in this one.
When?
How
So
he,
kata is here more like a verb. It's like to be how, to be a certain way, how he was. So katayaka,
how he previously,
ankati.
to be how he previously, for a long
how-
time ago.
How he was, or again, like how he lived, how his life was.
His life was how he lived in this land.
When he lived, yeah. So Kopet Sitkum Sun Per Fouquet, Yaka Ankati Mishlait Kopoko Kelehe, Yaka Chako Nanich Kamloops Tilicum, Yaka Chako Kanamoxt Monsignor Grouard, Piaka Dlate Flush Dum Dum Nanich Kamloops Tilicum. Kopet Polaklis Ewiach, Yaka Wawa Kapaslaska, Mamuk Kumtux Kapaslaska, Kata Yaka Ankati. So after noon, Father Fouquet, who previously lived in this country, he came to see or visit the Kamloops people. He had come along with Monsignor Grouard, and he was really happy to see the Kamloops people. After the evening prayers, he spoke to them, informing or teaching to them how he was. Again, this kata, how kata somebody is, how somebody is, winds up meaning, how someone lives, what their life is like. So he's telling the folks, kata yaka ankati, how he lived in the past when he resided in this country. Good. Let's see, Rain. How about, how about this far, Rain?
Okay. Kopet Mimalu Sun Stioutul Lasvek Patlach Benediction Kopa Tilicum P Pos Kopet Makmak Copa 8 o'clock. Conaway Telecom Chaco Copa Hayas Catechism House. Yawa Klaska Nanich Hayu Picture Hayu Iktatsam Copa Icht Magic Lantern. Per Foke Wacht Mamuk Seostom Copa Telecom Ikta Okoksam Klaska Nanich. At the end of sunset prayers, Bishop gave benediction to the people, and when finished eating the crackers, I guess, at 8 o'clock, all the people went to the big catechism house. And there they saw many pictures, many things drawn by magic lantern, many things shown by a magic lantern. Father Fouquet again made prayers for the people.
Actually, Sietsam is more like informing or here describing.
Okay. Describe for the people things, the drawings, the pictures that they saw.
All right. Copet Mimulus Sunst EWF, Lesevek Patlach Benediction, Copet Delicum, Bepos Copet Mukmuk, Copet 8 o'clock, Conwy Telecum, Chaco Copa Highest Catechism House, Pioas Leskananich Hayu Picture, Hayu Iktats Copet Ich Magic Lantern, Perfuge, Wach Mamuk Siatsum, Copet Delicum, Ik de Okotsum, Leskananich. After the evening, or dead sun, the evening prayers, the bishop gave a benediction to the people, and when finished eating, probably dinner, at 8 o'clock, everybody came to the big catechism house that we have mentioned before, and there they watched or saw many pictures. Hayu Ikta, many kinds of drawings here. Can be not just writing, but drawing, marking. So many kinds of drawings by a magic lantern, a projector. Père Fouquet also described or informed to the people what were those drawings that they were seeing. And I want to make sure and give Dale some time here. Okay, I've got the issue of the page break. So why don't you start with this, Dale? That will give you a little more, if you're still there.
All right. I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. I can't remember how to say 100. Onus 100. Louis Matsum. Yeah, onus 100. Louis Matsum Saikananich. Saikananich Kokum P. Okop at 10 o'clock. Yawatai Louis. Louis Iskam.
Something or other. Do you want here? Yeah, you can handle this. So here.
Yawatai Louis Iskam Tik Pos Mamu Kilapila Savek. Prepare for cake Copa Station. Kano Itilakam Wucht Shake Hands. Kana Slaska Pislaska Mashna Saika. Okay, that's all right. So then maybe 100 other pictures. We looked at maybe 100 other pictures. We looked at that. We looked at that show that the things were being shown until 10 o'clock came. Then at that time, Chief Louis got the bishop and father, or got the car in order to return the bishop and Père Fouquet to the station. Everybody shook hands again with them, and they left us.
Thank you. I must say, Clunas 100 chloimat the psychononich. The psychononich pi copa 10 o'clock. Yoa tai Louis yaka iskam tsik plus mamuk elapila sevek pi Père Fouquet copa station. Conwy delicum wucht shake hands conamox klaska pi klaska mash nasaika. And yeah, that's, clunas meaning maybe. So here it's like about 100 different pictures we saw. That's a pretty good slideshow for the 1890s. We saw these, we looked at these pictures, and it arrived at 10 o'clock. That's how you say, we looked at these pictures until 10 o'clock. Yawa means literally there, but again, around Kamloops, it's very often. And then Chief Louis, very important, well-known chief at Kamloops. Then Chief Louis got a wagon, I imagine a wagon, not a car at this time, in order to make return the bishop and Père Fouquet to the station, the train station. Conwy Tilcom, everybody again shook hands with them, and they left us.
I'm so used to using tick tick as a car that because I use it today that I forget that it used to be a wagon, even though that's still what it is in Newhalk.
Yeah.
What was the station? Was it
train station?
A train station, so they'd go home on a train?
Yeah, they were probably headed for, St. Mary's down at Mission, BC.
So it would be a CNR station going down the canyon.
Yeah. Yeah, it was routine for priests, Catholic missionaries from all over to gather at sort of the headquarters down at what's now Mission, BC. That's probably their destination. Father Fouquet, it's interesting to find a mention of him here. I'd like to just briefly tell you, we have, and I think I blogged about it once already. We have a letter written by him, by Fouquet, in Chinukwawa. I want to say it was 1870s, on behalf of various native chiefs to the government, as I recall it. So that's quite interesting there. That's Fouquet, by the way, if you want to look for him on my website, Fouquet in French.
And thanks to Alex for the reference to Magic Lantern on Wikipedia, on chat. Thanks.
We'll read that later.
Yeah.
I was wondering what that was, so I Googled it.
Oh, is that right?
It's actually, yeah, there's like a kind of projector.
Yeah.
Widely known before cinematography.
Well, you make me feel old. I knew automatically what a magic lantern is, but that's partly because in Spokane, venerable art house movie theater, here is the magic lantern.
I think I grew up on a lot of old books, and that was where I got it from.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep, it's real 1890s English again, showing up in BC Wawa.